4.4 is logical sequencing. Now, logical sequencing is something that is quite common if we pay attention to it. And it can start from the very, very beginning. And I'm sure any teacher who teaches grade 1, or anybody who's had a child in grade 1, or a sibling in grade 1, knows that the very first thing they learn is a beautiful sequence. What is it called? Sheshes Mebrachis. And don't they all come out with a sequence? Don't they all end up with a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, and what happened each day? That's a sequence. Okay? Now, we know that the Torah, there's Ein Muktam and Mucha Bar Torah. So there are different levels of sequencing. There are storylines that we have, and then within the storyline, we want to make sure they know what came first, what came second, what came third, what came fourth. Sometimes it's not an issue. It's quite clear in the pasuk. But I can still use the idea of sequencing to get them to use phrases from the pasuk, so that we're using the words of the pasuk to put things in order. This can get a lot more complicated when let's say I'm teaching Chumash Shmais, where all of Shmais is not chronological. And somewhere when I'm teaching Sefer Shmais, at the beginning, I have to talk about the parshias and the chronological order of what happened. Because Yisro Mishpatim, Truma and Tetzaveh is one set, and Kisisa goes back to Yisro. So I have to understand what is going on there, and why Yisro and Mishpatim and Truma and Tetzaveh, why those are there in that particular order. It's a particular order. It's not chronological order that I would think of, but there is an order, there's a reason for it. And sequencing things would help them. So I've given you this. This is a grade 2 teacher. This was the first time they were doing sequencing in Parshas Noach. So he gave them this little piece of paper. He gave them a strip of pictures, and he said, cut out the pictures and put them in the right box. Now, he supported them a lot. He put numbers. Now, he put numbers in here because this was the first time they were doing it. He wanted to ensure they understood what sequencing meant. The second piece of paper, he's got 6 parts to it. Okay? In this case, he didn't put the picture in. He gave them the parts of the pasuk. He did give them the number again and said, draw me the picture. So, is he checking for understanding? Yes. Of course. Tevis Atzigoifer. Well, what does that mean? What is that going to look like? The Chafarto, what does that mean? So I have to show something. So here are words of the pasuk that he wanted them to, that they had worked with. And so now draw me a picture of this part of it. But it's still sequencing. The plan was, the next time he did sequencing, he would have parts of a pasuk but without the number. As they get older, we give them the number and not the pasuk. Right? And as they get even older, we don't give them anything. We say, figure out how many steps there are, and you give them 8 boxes, and maybe you only wanted 6, but let them figure that out. So I've given you 2 examples of this. So this is just called a snake. Okay, the idea is a sequence. It's got a line that's running through, so it shows you the order it's going in. The boxes are kind of small. You can blow them up, but that's one template. Another template is simply this. We've got boxes. Notice they're not numbered at all. I might tell my students to put a picture up here and the psukim underneath that relate to that picture. Or maybe this is 8 pictures with a picture and the pasuk in the same thing. It's open because there's nothing on here. Whereas this next template is actually numbered. So it's already saying, I've got 8. And it's telling the student, go in this order. I want maybe 8 pictures with 8, but I want the psukim. Right? I want the pasuk, or the phrase of the pasuk that's indicating that piece, the main point of that event, that part of the event.